Welcome to the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice Know Your Rights training. In this module, we will cover essential information about ICE, including how to identify ICE agents, properly report sightings, and how ICE operates as an immigration enforcement agency. Let's get started. First, it's important to understand the structure of ICE. ICE, or the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, enforces U.S. immigration laws. Within ICE, there are two key divisions. The ERO, known as the Enforcement and Removal Operations Agency, handles arrests, detentions, and deportations. And then there's the HSI, known as the Homeland Security Investigations Agency. This agency investigates cases related to national security and transnational crimes. Because we live in a state that borders the US, it's important to note that we may also encounter a Customs and Border Protections officer. They can be found in airports as well as bus and train terminals. ICE agents may not always wear clothing that clearly identifies them. Their uniforms might say police, ERO, or HSI. Some agents wear plain clothes with a badge around their necks. If you see these markings, you are likely dealing with an ICE agent. It's crucial not to spread unverified information about ICE activity. Panic and rumors help ICE create fear in our communities. Instead, use the salute report method. S. Spot the number of officers. A. Assess their clothing, badges, or any identifying markers. L. Look at their actions. Are they detaining someone? Standing near a business? U. Understand time and location of the sighting. T. Take note of vehicles, license plates, or other identifying details. E. Ensure the information is verified before sharing it. By following this method, we can ensure we're sharing accurate information that helps rather than harms our community. Did you know you have a constitutional right to record video and take pictures in public places? That means if you see ICE making an arrest, you can record, as long as you don't interfere. If an officer tells you to stop, stay calm. You do not have to delete your footage or hand over your phone unless they have a warrant. Your camera is a powerful tool. Use it to protect your community and hold law enforcement accountable. Recording ICE and law enforcement can expose abuses, track ICE tactics, and reveal trends in enforcement. Your video can corroborate other evidence and strengthen advocacy efforts. When used with advocacy groups, documentation creates change, pressuring officials, shaping policy, and protecting our communities. Your camera can even deter misconduct and violence by making law enforcement think twice. Your footage verifies key details: the time, date, location, and officer conduct, helping us fight back with facts. When we document, we support advocacy, build power, and protect our people. Let's now transition to how ICE conducts surveillance operations, enforces its policies, and employs deceptive tactics. Did you know ICE gathers information from dozens of sources, both public and private? From arrest and conviction records to social media posts, ICE is constantly collecting data. When someone is arrested, their fingerprint reports get sent to federal and state databases. ICE can access this information even for minor offenses. ICE also uses field surveillance, watching homes, workplaces, and community spaces. Even when you post online, like social media, check ins, photos, and comments, these posts can be used by ICE. And sometimes ICE acts on tips from landlords, neighbors, or even anonymous sources. Knowing how ICE collects information helps us stay ahead, protect ourselves, and fight back. ICE conducts surveillance at or around home. ICE agents often pretend to be police to get inside. If your door is open, they might try to push their way in. You do not have to open the door unless they have a signed warrant from a judge. Ask them to slide it under the door. ICE can also conduct surveillance on the street or out in the community. They tend to wait outside people's homes, watching as they leave for work, school, or maybe even court. They may go to public workplaces looking for people by name. They'll often call out a person's name, and once they confirm the person, they may arrest them. When ICE conducts surveillance on the road, ICE agents don't always wear uniforms or drive marked vehicles. They may stop cars they believe are carrying non citizens. They may question everyone in the car and demand ID, even if they're only targeting one person. When ICE conducts surveillance in the workplace, several agents may show up unannounced, demanding proof of identification from workers. They barge into restricted areas of a business, and you do not have to answer questions or show ID. Remember, you have the right to remain silent. Ask if you're free to go. It's also important for you to know that ICE agents often operate in plain clothes and typically do not identify themselves before making an arrest. They may also conduct collateral arrests, detaining not only their intended target, but also witnesses or anyone nearby. To confirm identities in real time, ICE may use mobile fingerprinting devices or demand identification documents on the spot. We'll cover this in greater details in modules 4 and 5, but for now, remember, ICE uses fear and deception, but you have rights. Know them, use them, protect yourself and your community. ICE agents often pretend to be local police or other law enforcement officers to deceive people into cooperating with them. They may wear vests labeled police and claim to be investigating a crime or searching for a suspect. To gain entry into homes, they often use deceptive tactics, such as asking to take a quick look around or inviting themselves in to simply talk. They intentionally remain vague about their identity while gathering information or attempting to enter a residence. In some cases, they may even show a photo of a so-called suspect who they claim lives at the address, even when the person in the photo is not actually a resident. ICE uses ruses and intimidation tactics. They rely on deception and fear to carry out arrests. They often pretend to be local police, using vague language or pressuring individuals to comply. By using these ruses and intimidation tactics, ICE aims to prevent people from invoking their rights, making it easier to detain individuals before they realize they don't have to comply. Knowing your rights is the best way to protect yourself and your community. Thank you for joining us for the first module of our Know Your Rights training. In the next module, we will discuss the distinction between public and non-public areas in relation to Fourth Amendment protections.